Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our webinar today. I have my colleague, Matt Delisle, on the line here to help us with questions. Matt, can you see and hear me?
Yes, all systems go.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to go ahead and get started with an introduction to UNIFORM-Agri. And first, thank you for joining us here for this presentation. The UNIFORM-Agri purchased DairyLive in the end of last year, and it's been great to get to know some of our users over the past few months. So we thought we'd like to have an introduction really to the company and the software all together today. If you have any questions, go ahead and type those in the chat, and Matt will go ahead and answer some questions as it goes or ask questions if they apply to more people. I know we have a lot of attendees on today, so if your question doesn't get answered during the broadcast, one of us will get back to you with a response on that also. A little bit of housekeeping, if you have to leave early or something like that, this will be recorded and shared out by email too, so you'll have access to watch this back. All right. So UNIFORM is our herd management software, and we are compatible with Windows for your desktop or laptop and Apple or Android devices for our mobile app. Many of you have used the DairyLive Anywhere as a mobile app, and one really nice feature to the UNIFORM app is that you can use this offline in the barn. We'll talk more a little bit later about that. UNIFORM-Agri is a global company. There's about 90 people that work for the company now. We are in something close to 30 countries with our software and about 17,000 users worldwide. We've been developing and maintaining herd management software since about 1986. So a little bit newer to North America. You may not have heard the name very often over here, but globally we've been around for a while, and we have some really nice offerings for herd management software. Depending on where you come from DairyLive, you may be thinking, well, I see cows on the screen, but that doesn't really apply to me. We do have a dairy version, a beef version, and a goat version. So if you're looking for something that you don't see in this presentation, definitely reach out and ask us. We'll be happy to discuss all the more detailed options that we do offer. And we did a goat webinar last week. So if you're interested in seeing more details on the specific goat information, we can share that with you as well. UNIFORM is really made with the dairy farmer in mind. We really pride ourselves on that. A lot of us in the company come from farming backgrounds or live on farms ourselves. And we really focus on trying to be a user-friendly software that puts the daily life of the farm in the front of what we're doing every day. Data entry is really easy. There's practical, easy to open analysis reports. We can link to just about any sensor that you can think of on the farm. So if you've got some software on the farm and you're curious if we can link with a particular brand, that'd be something we could chat about to see what your needs are and how we could meet that. Our data is reliable. We have some built-in validation tools that make the program really, really nice, where you can't enter something that's illogical. And we also create safe remote backups for you of your data, which you may be used to already from DairyLive. As I mentioned before, we have a great mobile app. Works for Apple and Android. We do have compatibility with stick readers if that's something that you're using. The nice thing that we hear a lot about the app is that we can work offline in the barn because we don't have Wi-Fi in the barn, and the buttons are big enough for farmer fingers. So that's it's really focused to make it easy for you to use when you're out and about with the cows or the goats. Another thing that we pride ourselves on is excellent service to our customers. We have help desk hours 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. And we do have a large support team in North America, so you can get native English speaking help whenever you need it. And we also offer something really unique, I think, compared to other herd management softwares out there. We have a personalized onboarding process. So you're a DairyLive user now, we are focused on making your transition over to Uniform as good as we possibly can. We've built a customized data conversion tool from DairyLive to convert your data into Uniform without losing the integrity of what you've been working on for the past however many years you've been with the program. And then we take that a step further and we offer personalized training where we take every step with you. We'll work together to install the program, make any links to the software that you might have on farm, and then go through how to customize and set up your program for you. We also offer some individualized training where you can go at your own pace using our online learning academy called UNIFORM-Agri, and that's really designed to make your training what you need it to be. So go at your own pace and take the training as far as you want it to go. As I mentioned, we have this really nice mobile app. You can access this wherever you are, and you can synchronize your data wherever you are. You don't have to be in the barn. You don't have to connect a USB to your computer to synchronize the data over. You can have as many different users as you want on the app, and we can also set up multiple different languages for the app. So if you have any Spanish speakers or French speakers or any other different languages, I believe there are 30 languages available in the app now, and that applies for the different species as well. And this is compatible on Apple and Android for smartphones or tablets. If you're interested, you can actually download a free demo of the app right now. If you've got your phone on you, you can pull up the camera and just point and scan at one of these 2 QR codes, whichever applies to you. And that'll actually bring you right to the App Store so you can download the Uniform app. You can also search for it, just search for Uniform or UNIFORM-Agri, and that'll pull up the app and you can download a demo herd to play around and get the feel for what that really would look like. All right, any questions so far, Matt?
No, I think we're all good.
Okay, super. Well, let's jump into the software and take a peek at what we really have to go. This is the main dashboard from Uniform. And what you're going to see here is hopefully the things that are most important to you on a daily basis. At a quick glance, you've got a herd summary and some basic KPIs, which you can customize and play around with. And we'll talk a little bit more about each of those things. Just to give you a little bit of the lay of the land here, the toolbar across the top is completely customizable. So I have some of my favorite things pinned up here, but that might be different for you. It's a simple right click to customize this. And then you've got quick access wherever you are in the program to all of these different features. My favorite feature in the entire program, I think, is this little search bar right here, because you can search for a keyword in the program, like milk, for example, and all of these different management reports will come up. And you can also search for a cow by name or number, and that's going to pull up all the cows with that associated number in the program too. So you can quickly jump around where you're intending to go without having to hunt around the program. Down the left-hand side, we have these 4 icons here. Whichever one is colored is going to be the one that's active on your screen. So this pie chart brings you to your dashboard, kind of your home button, if you will. And then the cow's head is our management menu. When you click into the management menu, you'll see all of these different categories where different reports or analysis might be located. This I find to be super useful as you're learning the software because it's really categorized down to what you're looking for. So if you're looking for something milk related, you click on the udder and you pull up all the milk related reports. You can kind of use this tab at the top like a back button and jump to fertility if you wanted to take a look at something related to fertility. If you have an integration set up on the farm, you'll see this plug icon. So depending on what links you may have, this could show up in your program. It may not be there. We also have a link here to the mobile app. And basically all you do to set up your app is just scan this code in the app that you set up. So it's really fast, and you can have, like I said, as many users as you need to get your program optimally functioning for your herd. All right, let's go back to our dashboard here. As we get into the dashboard a bit, you'll see the herd summary along the top. And this is a color category based on reproductive status in the herd. So you can quickly at a glance see how many open cows, how many bred cows, how many pregnant cows, as well as a total count for how many adult cows are in the herd or how many heifers. Some additional items will pop up if you've got beef animals in the herd or a service bull. Some different tiles will show up here. So it really pops itself into what your herd currently is, and it's more useful and unique to you than anything else in the program. This is really your main action center. Like 95% of your day can be done right here. As you click into these, you can see where each list originates. So these are all of my bred cows in the herd. You can scan through, sort it by group number, by calving date, days in milk, whatever it might be the most interesting for you. And then you can see this cow, for example, she gets an award. She's had over 100,000 pounds of milk in her lifetime. So you can quickly see your high achievers in the herd. Let's take this opportunity to pop over to an animal record here. I just double click and it jumps us to her page. The animal record, I like to think of like a hanging file folder, if you will. So it's this one folder that contains all the information about the cow that you want to know. Each one of these different tabs is a little file folder inside and contains all the information that we know about this cow right in a category that you can find. Different reports will jump you to different tabs of the animal record, and it makes it really easy to find the information you're looking for about a specific cow. Let's take a look, for example, at milk production. So we said this cow had a big lifetime total of milk. Here we can see in the lactations tab all of her lactations to date, her total day production, pounds of milk, and at the very bottom we can see her lifetime production. From a milk meter standpoint is over 150,000 pounds of milk, and from her official milk recordings is 140,000. So it's just a really nice way to take a peek at overall performance on an individual. The next tab over is milk recordings, and here we can see all of those individual milk recording dates. So this is a herd with a milk meter in the parlor, and you can see each milk recording, and then we've got an official milk test here. So you can take both different types of data and synthesize that together in an animal record to really get a good picture of what's happening with this cow. I also love the reproduction tab. Here we can see current lactation, which may be interesting on a daily basis, but if you're looking more in depth for something, we can switch to all lactations, and we can see every reproductive event associated with a cow, or we can scroll through individual lactations. So you can really fine tune something or find a pattern with an individual really quickly. The next tab here that I like a lot is the Health and Treatments tab. This one is laid out in two sections here. So on the left-hand side, you have the treatments and health events that have been recorded for an individual. And on the right-hand side, you can see which treatments and medicines are associated to those individual things. So here I'm on preventative treatments, and you see a lot of hormone protocols, hoof trimming, stuff like that. If I click on this pneumonia event, I actually see only what was done for this cow during that pneumonia event. So you can see a really detailed or simplified look at health depending on what you're looking for. One thing that I find super cool is the health events can be added to, costs can be added to the health events and medicines. So you can see a lifetime health cost for an animal, preventative cost, medicine cost, and all you have to do is set this up one time. So you just enter your medicine cost, and that's going to go ahead and pull through to all your health events and treatments. and you can build yourself a nice little cost basis for an individual. I know some farms are using this to cull out heifers that have been a problem before they end up breeding them, different things like that. So really a useful tool here in the animal record. I'll also show the pedigree. This one's neat. Here we see this is the sire and dam of this particular animal. If you do any embryo transfer work, you'd see the surrogate dam there on an ET calf. And then the offspring of her are down in the bottom half of the screen. And we can swap this over to a family tree with just a little click of a button here. So you can see the family tree of this cow and then her offspring down at the bottom at a quick glance. And one other thing, I got a question this week from a DairyLive user about possibilities in uniform if you were looking to sell a cow, and what we could do as far as an animal card or something like that. We have the option in the animal record to do a print preview, and we can create a cow page that you could send with a cow on a sale day or something like that. And this is going to contain as much or as little information as you choose to show, but specifically the question I was asked was reproduction and lactations. So you can get all that milk data and reproduction data as needed into a cow page. All right. Another thing that's important, especially in the US, we do a lot of milk testing. As I mentioned, official milk recording data can be put in here. It's a simple entry with a milk test update. We'll basically download your file onto the computer and then click a couple buttons to import your data. It presents itself in a milk recording analysis, which is a really nice tool. You can customize your targets here to alert you at a glance for low fat percentage or high somatic cell count, whatever it might be that you're interested in. And then we can quickly scan and see who's above or below the thresholds that we set up. You can also scroll between test days here really easily. So if you wanted to take a look at a year ago, you can just click a button, check this out. All your sold cows, obviously, since then, will pop to the top of your list. But you can kind of see quick glance of what happened with the herd over time. And then we also have a graph here where you can see the milk production and basically your test day lactation curve. So if you're looking for something like that, we can definitely perform there. Another of my favorite reports is going to be the fertility KPIs. You see, I've got it on my toolbar. I use this one a lot. This one is a quick glance at insemination rate, preg rate, and conception rate. And we can get into kind of the nitty-gritty of your data here and customize how we want to view it in a ton of ways. So what you're looking at on the left-hand side is a grid, days in milk, and then insemination rate and preg rate. We've got the graph on the right. If you don't like it, you can turn it off and just look at the grid. And same thing, if you just want to look at a graph, you can turn that off too. You can check out your insemination rate and preg rate by calendar date instead of days of milk. But where this report really shines for me is the conception rate. And here we have, I think, 10 or 12, I don't know even how many, different ways to categorize our conception rate. So currently what we're looking at is number of services and the conception rate. You can see my conception rate in this herd is 44.6. If I wanted to take a look at something else, say insemination bull, we could split this up and take a peek at how an individual sire is performing in the herd. And these are all clickable. So you can click on a heading to sort the list up or down to see any number of different filters on this. If you wanted to see your highest pregnancies or whatever to the top, you can just click. And then my favorite one is the estrus sign. So at data entry, when you're putting in your breedings, you have the choice to include a breeding reason. And at the time, that probably seems like not an important thing. But when you take the extra second or two to put that data in, you can really analyze your conception rate by a bunch of different factors to see if your new activity system is performing well, if your AvSync programs are doing great, or if you're really good at visible heat detection. So this is a really interesting one to take a look at.
There's a question, Lauren.
Yeah.
It's not related to this particular report we see right now, but Terry's asking, what file type can we import for milk test?
We cooperate with all of the major DHI centers in the US. So primarily we're using DNL files and the DAISY files. But depending on which testing center you use, they have a standard file export, and we can just grab that from them. That's usually something that's already set up.
Good, thank you.
All right. Let's jump over to the report writer section of the program. This is our customized report generator in the program, which you're familiar with being able to do in DairyLive. So we also can do that in UNIFORM. Report writer, if you pin it to your toolbar, you can access all of your custom reports right from the toolbar. So you can see your lists at a quick glance wherever you are in the program. You can also open it up, pick a list. Let's just pick fresh cows. You can play around with it, see your different lists, current lactation data, create a new report with the plus button. You can edit a current report with the pencil, or you can export this to Excel if you need to do some additional data manipulation there. I'll just show you what it looks like. In the report writer wizard, we have these categories on the left, and here you can filter whatever you're looking for. If you're looking for lactation data, if you're looking for health, activity, whatever it may be, or you can search just from under all. As you see there, when I made different selections, the center available items change. So you can see different KPIs there. And then you just click on one of these and use the arrows to send it to the right to add it to your list. So on my selected column, all of these items are in my selected list. The other thing that you can do here, which is kind of nice for a quick glance if you're a visual person, is take your little color setting button here, and you can set different targets. If there's a good or a bad value, you can set a target and change a color, and then all of the items in the list will change color based on that, so you can quickly see what you're looking for. Okay, then you can filter that data. Any of those items that you selected in your list can become a filter. So if you're looking for days in milk or pounds of milk lifetime or somatic cell count, whatever it is, those can all be filtered on. And you can also duplicate a list. So if you like this current lactation data, but you want to tweak it a little bit, you can save it as a new list and create something else entirely with that as a base. If you are somebody that has a beef herd and a dairy herd in the same software, maybe you've got some feeder calves that you keep around or beef cows, whatever, you can change your animal types in these lists, and you can filter out different animal types to create those specific lists that you're looking for. And then we've got some grouping options and some printing settings, so you can really customize the presentation and the printability of a report really easily.
There are 3 questions, Lauren, not related to this. First 2 questions are from Brian. He says, can I import production data from AIC herd tracker?
I know we have an AIC link. I don't know specifically herd tracker.
If that's
I'd have to look that up.
If that's the Espresso software, yes, we can. We can import milk weights, conductivity codes, and also milk temperature. So I'm not sure if that's what you mean, Brian, but yeah, that's what we link to. And the second question was also, can I export visible ID and RFID and group data in AIC tag file format?
Yeah, I would say again, if that is a compatible link, then yes. If not, then we can create an Excel export probably for what you're looking for, but we'd have to look at the specifics of your process computer to make sure we could set that up.
Okay, and finally, a third question. This one's from Sandy. Is there a way to enter your own milk weights if you self-test?
Yes, there is. You can manually add your milk information in the data entry screen from the app or from an animal record. So all of that is possible.
Good, thank you.
Perfect. All right, time is slipping by, so I'm going to jump into cow grade. This is a very unique to uniform report here, and I find it to be super interesting. When we were in the animal record, you may have noticed that there was a grade associated to the cow we were looking at, and you can customize this to be the most useful to you. What we're looking at here is all the cows in the herd. We can see status and basic information, as well as the column for grade. And then we've got some different KPIs here, as well as the scores for each individual cow on that particular KPI. At a glance, this is a lot of data. What you can do with it is check out the settings and set your own good and bad values for all these different things. So you can set your goals here. You know, do I want to keep older cows around? Am I focusing on calving interval? What are my protein and fat targets? That kind of thing. So set your numbers in there. And then we have a weighting factor built into the program. So you can take a look at each one of these KPIs and score them from 0 to 5. And you can rank the priority for you in your herd on each one of these items. So if it's not important to you at all, what the mastitis score was last lactation, we can ignore it. If it's extremely important to you to focus on protein and fat production, we can prioritize that to the top. So you can really play around with this to make your scores super relevant to what you're doing on a daily basis. If we expand this just a little bit, we can see, let's pick on a cow here, 423. I hit the plus button next to her name or her number, and we can see that below each score becomes a value, and that's the value that is the basis for the score that she got. So if you're questioning why is this cow a 10 on this and a 4 on that, you can see where she performed previously and currently. And then we can also take this list and filter it. So the way I really love to use this list is, for example, if you're trying to figure out the portion of cows to breed to beef because you don't need all those heifers, you can use the breeding and the culling scores to create your own targets there. So, okay, my 7s are going to get bred to sex semen or whatever, and my 6s and below are going to be beef or culls. Whatever your goals are, you can kind of play around with this to make it as useful as you need it to be to you. And then you can also split it out against lactation and calving numbers and stuff like that. So really fun to play around with this and set up your herd scores so you can see who are my top performers and who are my bottom performers really quickly. Any other questions about the program?
There's none at this point.
Okay. We will jump back over. So if you guys are interested in learning more, you can get in touch with us. We've got a QR code here you can scan to watch a testimonial from one of our herds in Canada. They've been using the program for about 5 years now. And we've also got a QR code here on the bottom right, which will link up to an email. So if you've got a specific question right now, or if there's something really on your mind you want to know, you can scan that code with your phone with the camera and just add a little bit of information to it. Make sure to tell us who you are, and we can get back to you with the questions. We are offering a limited number of data conversions from DairyLive to Uniform. And so it's on a first come, first served basis. If you want to make sure you reserve your spot, we can get you a quote on what that would look like, depending on the process computers that you may have in the conversion process. So be sure to reach out with us to any questions, and yeah, I'll take any other questions now if there are any.
Still good.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. Like I said, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.